Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast and another live reaction hosted, as always, by myself. Another win from Chelsea. I can't believe we got away with that. It's always interesting watching Chelsea. I wouldn't wish being a Chelsea fan on my worst enemy. Sometimes it is tough, man. It is just so nerve biting. Those 90 minutes sometimes are horrible to watch. But we are back. We've done it. We've got over the line. Back in the top half, another win, big win. Obviously, another couple of games before we have a bit of a break, before we go to Liverpool. Hopefully, with Nkunku back, Palmer, Sterling back next week, this is going to be the start of a little bit of momentum. A couple of great performances in that first half, particularly. A little bit of build-up play that was pretty sublime. Was top tier Chelsea. Reminded me of some of the link-up play that we put together in pre-season when we were actually looking like a proper team, looking like a proper unit. So yeah, positives to take away from this game. But again, a lot of frustration. You can hear it in the crowd tonight. My co-host Mr. C Money Picks is there, or was there. Hopefully we'll be able to get some sort of live reaction from him and hear what the stadium was like. But yeah, man, you could hear it in the Chelsea fans tonight. They were getting frustrated. There was a lot of backward passes, a lot of meaningless possession again, struggling to create chances, struggling to break down the lines, and struggling to get into dangerous areas. And again, when we did get into dangerous areas, a few great deliveries tonight. Malo Gusto was superb, putting in some great balls, creating some great chances from that right side. A little bit more muted in the second half on the left, but I think he was definitely one of, if not our best player tonight. Yeah, great performance from Malo Gusto. Very, very happy with how he's progressing. We saw he was an understudy. We saw him as an understudy to Reece James, 20 years old, a couple of caps for France already. Looks like the real deal. Leon fans, we're getting onto us and trying to get onto him about his defending capabilities, trying to kind of criticize him before he'd even joined. I like pretty much everything I've seen from Malo Gusto. There is kind of a little bit of immaturity that, we need to stamp out of his game in terms of playing in dangerous situations and maybe, getting rid of the ball a little bit earlier, not putting himself in so much trouble with hospital balls and, trying to be flash, trying to, do these little flicks and tricks around his own box. But at the same time, he's definitely got the quality to do it, when he's confident and when he's, at the end of the day, he's still kind of getting back to full match fitness. When he's fully confident, like we saw him in glimpses of tonight, particularly for that first goal, what an assist. And not just the assist itself, the work rate, the turn on the halfway line, the whole move was fantastic. It wasn't as slick because he got pulled back, but even with that, Cruyff turned between two players, opened the whole game up, continued his run when he passed it, got a little bit of luck, but he earned that with his work rate, earned that with his hard work. And it all came together, great ball across, made it, a very easy finish for Mudryk. And I'm glad that it was Mudryk there, not Jackson, because, surely with Sterling and Palmer back next week, because I can't imagine he'll keep Sterling on the bench. Surely he drops Jackson and puts Nkunku up top and puts Palmer in the centre. Because Nicholas Jackson, yes, he got his, got an offside goal and it was good, but he was offside. He missed a big chance. He's did everything went against him tonight, and there was glimpses, particularly in that first half. And again, we said against Wolves, Nkunku was the only positive. He was the only Chelsea player that was looking for the ball, looking to make something happen, looking to make an impact, looking to get involved. He was passing to everyone, asking for it back. He was, the only player that was passing and moving, which is something that this Chelsea team seems to hate doing. This Chelsea team just does not want to seem to make, to move off the ball, to make runs off the ball, and to receive that. They don't want to seem to play football and to get involved in terms of an attacking build-up, put anything together. We do struggle. And now we've got kind of Nkunku as that linchpin. In that first half, we did see kind of glimpses of what he could bring to this team and what he does bring to this team. I think everyone's a little bit more confident around him. You can see how confident he is on the ball. This is his first start in a competitive game for Chelsea. He's already kind of given it the little flicks. Yes, there were a couple of times where, when we're drawing or when we should be kind of going for the kill, 1-0 in that first half. Realistically, we should have been 2-3-0 up. The game should have been out of sight, out of mind by 45 minutes, by half time. And Nkunku was culpable for a couple of those chances. The one where he went down for a penalty where Jackson put him through, which was actually a fantastic ball from Jackson. Got stuck under his feet a little bit. Nkunku, when he's back to full fitness, when he's back to playing, at his best, and in his rhythm in this Chelsea side, he'll be putting those away left, right, and centre. But a couple of times tonight, we saw that he was a little bit rusty. Same with Romeo Lavia. Fantastic to see Romeo Lavia get his first minutes in a Chelsea shirt. Thought he was a little bit rusty, made a couple of mistakes, but on the whole, looked fairly confident on the ball. For a 19-year-old coming into that team, I'm not really sure what the purpose of that substitution was at that point, with him being, a fairly defensive midfielder and us needing, the impetus and needing to go forward and needing a bit more attacking creativity. But on the whole, I liked, pretty much everything that I saw from Romeo Lavia tonight. Physical, fast, looks like he could be a solid player in that Chelsea team. Caicedo, however, I've been backing Caicedo. He was poor tonight. He gave away far too many easy balls. He takes far too much time on the ball. And he's always got his back to the play. He's always looking to receive it from the defenders, which is great. But you need, someone that can turn out quickly, someone that can spread it quickly, like Jorginho, but maybe with a little bit more attacking intent. And Caicedo struggled tonight. It wasn't a particularly intense press from Crystal Palace, but we got swarmed in that midfield. And you can see what happens when you break up that trio of Enzo, Caicedo, and Conor Gallagher. You've seen what happens in every single Chelsea game this season. Whether it's Enzo, whether it's Caicedo, whether it's two or three of them, as soon as you break that three apart, the control in the midfield evaporates and we stop dominating games, because so much of that game is won and lost in that midfield. And when we were, going toe to toe with Man City, Arsenal, putting in great performances against Tottenham, we were beating them in the midfield. It was when we had that three, and maybe one of them wasn't playing at 100%, but the trio, the quality between the three of them was, and the work rate and the commitment and the solidity, they were so tough to break down, that three, not particularly attacking, very, very difficult to get past, with Conor Gallagher in there, with the protection with Enzo and Caicedo behind him. Conor Gallagher's work rate, worked great in this Chelsea side, but you take 1-2 players out, and this has been our problem this season and in the last couple of seasons is no rhythm, no consistency in the team. And we're seeing it tonight, and there were quite a few times in that back four. I don't know why Maatsen came off when he did. Obviously, Levi Colwill came off. Surely Maatsen drops back to left back, but he switched out, switched Malo Gusto over, who was having a fantastic game at right back, switched him over to left back, put Disasi right back. I understand, and I'm, fully behind having players that are capable and good enough to play in 2-3 positions. And it's great that we are giving these players, that opportunity. But at the same time, when you've got out and out players in that position available to you on the pitch, it seems a bit strange to me that Poch is kind of tinkering as much as he is when we do need consistency and, making a lot of substitutions in that back line. I've always kind of said and had as kind of a standard, in a Premier League side or in a top side, the manager doesn't really change anything in the back four unless he's really unhappy. And there were 2 substitutions today. Obviously, Thiago Silva coming on, Levi Colwill coming off, and then obviously Badiashile coming off as well. He didn't play fantastically today. His touch looks fantastic. He did look like he lacked a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of match awareness. And but I do think he played better than Disasi. I thought Disasi was a little bit slow, a little bit cumbersome today on that right side. I really don't like him. He said in the early days that we liked the fact that he kind of bombards forward. He's very, very solid. When he makes those bulldozing runs, he's very, very difficult to bring down, and he gets into good positions, but he hasn't really created anything, no real assists or chances created in that position as yet. And I kind of I see him as more of a liability on that right side. And I think at the moment we do have better centre-back options than Disasi. He is a good option to have, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the guy. He puts in fairly solid performances week in, week out. But when you're looking at the consistency of the back four and what we want, surely at the moment, Malo Gusto right back every week. Ian Maatsen can serve in that left back position. Even if we don't really want him to, we have players that are left backs that we can put in there. Levi Colwill, I don't know if he was injured again tonight or Poch was just unhappy with his performance. He wasn't great, but Levi Colwill's another option at left back, but leave that centre back pairing alone. Stop putting Disasi at right back. The switching up and the inconsistencies really kind of starting to get to me. And I do think it is getting to this Chelsea team as well. You saw it at times when Palace were shifting it out fairly quickly, just doing the quick shift of play, crossfield ball from Ayo or Elise. The whole Chelsea team looked a little bit frazzled, and there were times where I was looking at it and going, where is Gusto? And Gusto was back on the right, Disasi was on the left. I'm thinking, have they switched over? I know it's a common thing to do that when you're wingers, to confuse the opposition, but it's not really something that you do as a fullback. And surely if you're switching fullbacks consistently, and we said, and the commentators said as well, that Malo Gusto offered a lot less in that second half from the left side. He had so much less of an impact and he looked a lot more muted. Surely just keep him on the right side. It's tough for me. They both look like they were getting pulled out of position. The wingers looked like they were relishing it. At times, Elise was tearing us apart, and Elise was a player, when we were very, very close to signing him in the summer, when we were linked, and it was, pretty much here we go, whatever, before he signed that extension. I was very, very keen to get Elise in when he was, on that shortlist of 3 or 4 players. I mean, my top one was Kudus, but that never really, looked like materializing. Elise was the next player that I wanted for that kind of 10 winger, role. I know he was injured at the time, and that wouldn't have helped in terms of having an instant impact, but we've seen him come back for Palace and have an instant impact. I know it's in a team he's familiar with and a system he's familiar with, so that's a little bit easier. I mean, I have no doubt that Elise would have cooked in this Chelsea team. Him on the right with Palmer and Nkunku around him, Mudryk around him. Mudryk starting to put in great performances. We'll speak about him in a minute. But Elise, I mean, he's a great player. The touch and the finish for the goal, instinctive. The touch particularly was fantastic to have the awareness and the ability to bring it down, the control, the composure to bring it down, in a crowded penalty box. Misjudgment from the defender, a couple of lapses of judgment really starting to cost us. It was one against Newcastle through the entire game. A couple against Wolves, lost us that game. And then again, a couple tonight put us in dangerous positions that we really didn't need to be. And set pieces is something that I think we are awful from and have been for a long time in terms of defending. We really shouldn't have switched off in the third or fourth phase, whatever it was, when they put that ball back in. It's so frustrating to see, professional footballers lose their man so easily. As soon as, it goes out, they all press and they all just kind of lose all composure. They really should have marked better, but, at the end of the day, it was, like I said, great touch, great finish. Nothing Petrovic could have done in terms of that first goal. And really, I mean, he performed pretty well today, made some good saves. His distribution was pretty solid again. The one thing that I think I prefer as well about Petrovic is he doesn't, if in doubt, get it out. He does not take that risk. He does not take that chance that Robert Sanchez does. And I feel like, the defenders are a lot more grateful and a lot more solid, with Petrovic behind them, and they're a lot more confident in his ability and, their ability to give him the ball and to go and move and get it back, because they know that if they are getting pressed by 2-3 players, he's not going to play that ball, whereas, Sanchez might play that hospital pass. Petrovic is, I like Petrovic. Sanchez is out for 3-4 more weeks. Hopefully Petrovic can continue playing well and give Pochettino something to think about when Sanchez comes back. Obviously, I know he was so reluctant to give Petrovic minutes until Sanchez got injured, so that leads me to believe that Sanchez will kind of fit straight back in as our number one. But if Petrovic continues to put in great performances and great saves, nothing to complain about, then it's going to be tougher for Poch to oust him. But yeah, man, Mudryk, again, I thought a good player tonight, good performance, particularly in that first half, looked very, very sharp. We've said so many times on this channel, myself and Charms, he comes together when he gets minutes, and it's all like positive reinforcement. He gets the minutes, he gets the confidence, he gets the goal contributions, then he gets more minutes, then he gets goals, and it all kind of snowballs from here. And he does need to be starting. He is way too dangerous to be left on this Chelsea bench. He could be, if we had a fully stacked team and 4 or 5 players that were banging in goals and assists and creating dangerous chances in that final third in winger positions, then I'd say, maybe give him a rep, maybe use him as an impact sub. But he's too good at the moment, too dangerous, too important in this Chelsea side. He's too dangerous of a tool to be, keeping locked in that Swiss Army knife. We do not have a plethora of options going forward. We do not have, as Charms like to say, a smorgasbord of quality attackers that are going to make something happen in that final third. Someone that can turn on a dime and literally just change the game with that Eden Hazard quality. Raheem Sterling really hasn't done it. The majority of stuff that he's done for this Chelsea side this year has been positive, but personally, I think the negative things that he does, the decisions that he makes, the poor decisions, the passing in the final third, the lack of finish, I think that outweighs it for a player of his experience, his accomplishments. He doesn't make the cut for me. I'd personally say that Mudryk is a more dangerous player at the moment in this Chelsea side than Sterling, and I would have him in a starting position at the moment with the likes of Nkunku, Palmer. I mean, Sterling at the moment, I think I'd have over Jackson. After Jackson's performance today, I think Nkunku's got to be the number 9. You've got to have Sterling on the right, Mudryk on the left, Palmer in that number 10, Enzo and Caicedo sitting behind him. Gallagher, I mean, they said good game from Gallagher today. I weren't sold on Gallagher. I think there was a lot of times that he was very poor in possession. I know he works, his work rate is fantastic. He works tirelessly for the team, bleeds for the badge, and there are very few players. I'm very vocal about having players that bleed for the badge and want to play for this team. And And Conor Gallagher is definitely one of very few of them. And we can't really afford to shun that, can't really afford to waste that. But he is so frustrating. He's for all the work that he puts in. I mean, his quality on the ball just isn't there. You know, what you saw when Lavia came on instantly, just his ability to knock the ball around and to have a little bit more control and to turn on a sixpence and then do something with it. He gets the ball, you know, does something and then does it. Well, Conor Gallagher wins the ball back and then dribbles into 3-4 more players and then wins a throw in 20 yards away and he gets the applause and he wins the work. But he doesn't really do. He needs to get his head up, move the ball. And if he does that, he'll be a fantastic player. Because like I said, his work rate's superb. And I've said time and again, I think Conor Gallagher would cook in a Liverpool side, in Tottenham, Man United, maybe even Arsenal. You know, the first three predominantly, because they have systems whereby, you know, in their pressing setups, that would just give Conor Gallagher so much more freedom to roam about and go and have an impact and put defenders under pressure. But the way that Chelsea play, we don't really do that whole team press. So when Conor Gallagher's kind of going out there and doing that lone wolf, that, you know, lone soldier, it doesn't really work, because when he wins it back, he's got 3-4 Crystal Palace players or opposition players around him and no one to really back him up. Then he loses the ball and it never really works well either way, regardless of whether he wins a throw in or loses the ball or gets it. He's out of position. And then in the stronger likelihood that he does lose it, that turnover of possession, he's out of possession. They've got 4 players on the counter attack. He's too much of a liability, particularly when we haven't got kind of a solid base and a solid pivot around him or behind him. And yeah, Caicedo didn't do it for me today. Caicedo I thought was poor. Could have come off. You know, he makes too many rash challenges. I know he's young, but there was quite a few that he was just kicking out in the box, and the ref should have given. The ref was so poor today. So many in front of him that he should have given. Obviously, he should have given the penalty straight away as well. But yeah, man, I wasn't particularly convinced with Caicedo, and still think he's got a lot to work on in his game. I know that he is a quality player, and he's demonstrated that not just for us, but for Brighton time and again. You know, we don't need to doubt his quality. Whether it's 115 million worth is an entirely different conversation. But Caicedo is a quality player and will be a big part of this Chelsea side for years to come. But for the time being, he does need a little bit of stability around him. And I think a lot of that, does come from that back four, keeping the same centre-backs, keeping people that he's familiar with, knocking it and receiving it from. And a lot of it comes from Thiago Silva. I mean, when you saw when he came on, I mean, he didn't have the best cameo, made a couple of big errors, but his judgment, his experience, his leadership in that box, you know, holding people culpable, making sure that they are in position. His organisation levels and organisation skills are definitely something that we need to just make sure that we keep in this Chelsea team. And when we are building a spine, because at the moment in this period of setup, regardless of who you support, whether you're a Chelsea fan, rival fan, whether you love it or hate it, we are still building a team, and we still need to focus on the root, the spine, the base of the team. And that needs to come from the goalkeeper, centre-backs, centre-mids, and a centre-forward. You know, the fullbacks, the wingers, you can work around that. If you have shit fullbacks and shit wingers, but world-class centre-backs, centre-mids, and a centre-forward and a goalkeeper, you can work with that. That is enough there. You know, Chelsea did that, and the blueprint was John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, Petr Cech in goal, Frank Lampard, and then you've obviously got, you know, Makelele, whoever he wanted to play with, Essien. There's so many centre mids that Chelsea had, and then Drogba up front. That was the blueprint. Right there was the blueprint. And I do not understand why Chelsea have struggled to replicate this. We just haven't seemed to get the players and keep the consistency. We seem to want to change it up way too much. And a couple of the subs, I mean, I said earlier, I didn't know why he brought Maatsen off, why he didn't play Maatsen at left back and switch Gusto over. I mean, Noni Madueke, a player that I was hoping would get a start today. Very glad to see him come on. You know, I had a bit of an impact, you know, very quickly, very early on. You know, he's quick, he's fast, he's great one-on-one. His dribbling ability is fantastic. And yes, he needs to work on his end product and his finishing. While I do think he's got a wicked left foot, and when he does put them away and when he is confident and playing and getting minutes like he does, you know, in the England under-21s, he's shown us that he can finish and that he's got a great left foot on him. I was very nervous for him taking a penalty, man. I know they said on the commentary, you know, don't like subs taking penalties. I agree. It was set up for him to fail to miss, particularly after winning the penalty and the long delay. But thank God that Madueke put that away and got us out of jail a little bit, because, you know, it's always kind of a catch-22. It's a bit of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other with these Chelsea performances. Half of me is kind of like, look, we are in an awful position right now in terms of our transition, our results, our injuries. So we should be happy that we are getting, you know, across the line. You know, you always say the mark of a great team is not performing well and still being able to come away with the result. And that's what Chelsea that's what a lot of the optimism that comes out of Chelsea wins recently has come from that perspective, because there's not that many positives to take. Our wins are not that convincing, but when you look at it and say, look, the period and the situation we're in right now, you've got to look at it as, we weren't at our best, but we still managed to win. That is a massive positive. The other half of me looks at that game and goes, compare the two halves and how we played and how free flowing we were, and the chances we created in the first half, how dangerous we looked, how difficult we were to contain. Yes, Crystal Palace started on the front foot for the first 5-10 minutes. They ran us a little bit ragged and we didn't really know what to do with ourselves. But as soon as we got ourselves sorted, as soon as we get ourselves, as soon as we get a couple of opportunities and get on the front foot, a little bit of momentum, crowd behind us, we need to start scoring some more early goals so this Stamford Bridge, crowd does not turn on us like it does and get so frustrated, because this Chelsea side is inevitably going to knock the ball around, keep, pointless possession passes just for, control of the game, just to be professional. And I don't have anything against that. There's nothing wrong with that when you are winning and when you are in a position to control the game. But a lot of times this Chelsea side is losing or drawing, and we're way too slow with it. We need to just play like we did in that first half, like, some semblance of pre-season, when there was some great little link-up play, great little one-touch football going on. The goal, a couple of moves of Mudryk and Jackson. There was a couple of great moves in that first half, really, really good moves. And Nicholas Jackson looked better with Nkunku in and around him. Like I said earlier, a few of these Chelsea players, and I think this Chelsea side looked more confident with Nkunku there, because they felt like they had a real goal threat. They felt like they had somebody that could really create something in and around the 18-yard box, which is something that, we do have the individuals, but as a team, we are lacking. It's been a consistent problem, and even was when we were on top in that first half. But Nkunku definitely brought that team together, definitely helped the link-up play, definitely boosted Jackson's performance in that first half. Obviously, I know we're managing his match fitness, but it would have been good to see Nkunku stay on. I think he was our most dangerous player, bar Mudryk at that point. Obviously, I know Mudryk went down. We're waiting to see what the extent of that injury is. Hopefully it wasn't serious. Hopefully it was just a knock, a bad tackle. But Nkunku gives this team so much more confidence, and hopefully he'll continue to start. And with Palmer coming back, I'm very excited to see how him and Palmer cook together, because they are two players that I think are technically the best in this Chelsea side, definitely going forward. I wouldn't be mad to see Jackson miss out, particularly after the misses today. His goal, you can't be mad at anybody but him for standing offside. He does it so often. And how many goals does it cost him and us? And it will cost us in big, big games. And we're creating, in a team that creates so few chances, we need to take our opportunities. And Nicholas Jackson is just not clinical enough. He needs 3 or 4 big misses before he can actually get one up, get one in the back of the net and actually put one away. And it's frustrating, because had he scored that tonight, that's 9 goals all comps, 8 goals. He's our top scorer in the league. It's a good instinct finish. He's got the winning goal, and we can't really be mad at him with the missed chances. But as soon as that goes, as soon as that doesn't go in, it changes the whole complexion of his performance. Because yes, there were, again, glimpses of good build-up play, but he's getting the basics wrong, the bare basics. And the link-up play should be the hard part. Transitioning into the team and fitting into a brand new team, 10 brand new players, should be incredibly difficult. But he seemed to do that from the off in this Chelsea pre-season. The difficult part that he's had is maintaining consistency, and also doing the basic, like the bare, the simplicities, the bare necessities, the bare basics of the game, like being able to look along the line and stay onside. I know it's only his 3rd season in Premier League football, in professional football. I know he had a big injury last year. I know he's not that experienced. I know we didn't pay that much for him, and we're bargaining or putting a lot on his shoulders. But he's the striker of Chelsea Football Club, and at a bare minimum for £30 million, you should be able to look along the line and make sure that you're onside. He's I don't want to make an offensive joke, but I'm pretty sure he's not colourblind. He's what excuse has Nicholas Jackson got as the striker, as the furthest player forward, to not be looking over the line? Because more often than not, it's not even the players behind him that he's ahead of, it's the players in front of him. So he can look along the line. It's not like he even has to do a 180, but it shouldn't be that difficult to do it. It's bare, basics of football that he is struggling with. And hopefully we see a little bit of a change around and seeing Nkunku kind of start in that 9 position, see if that brings a little bit more dynamism to this Chelsea side next week. But Yeah, I mean, Broja had a couple of good opportunities, a couple of good glimpses, better than recent weeks, I think, for me. Broja is a player that I rate very, very highly. I think he's got great talent, great prospects, all the tools needed to be a top striker in the Premier League and for Chelsea. Obviously, still very, very young and just coming back off a big injury. So I want to give him a little bit of slack in terms of how slowly he's kind of got back into this Chelsea team. I was hoping that this was going to be his big chance, that he was going to grab it with two hands, go out there, bag a few goals and really stamp his mark, really make his mark on this Chelsea side, be our starting striker this season. He's struggled to really have an impact again tonight. He shows his pace at times, shows his technical ability, shows that he's got a great shot on him, great ping, great with both feet, but he struggles to. I feel like he does too much. I feel like that is Armando Broja's problem. He does too much, and he needs to just, again, like Jackson, just go back to the basics, make it simple. Play simple, go back to the necessities, the bare basics of football, and get the ball, hold it up, drop it off, lay it off, make a run. Get it, hold it up, drop it off, lay it right. It's pretty simple for the system that we play. We want to move the ball quick. We don't really want to be pumping, although it's a great option to be putting the ball over the top long. And that was an option tonight. They were playing an incredibly high line in that first half. Why we weren't kind of putting more floated balls over the top, diagonals over the top for Jackson and Nkunku to run onto, I do not know. But, it's an area of his game that I think he's demonstrated that he is strong with. But it took one opportunity in that second half where he took it down, great touch, very close to finishing it with his left foot. But he just seems to, again, it's a confidence thing. He needs a couple of goals and to get into this Chelsea side of consistent minutes. But I'm very surprised that Poch has persisted with Jackson as much as he has and not given Broja more starts. I know he's had a couple of injury issues, particularly in recent weeks, and he's coming back from that big injury as well. But Broja, like I said, is a top player, and he gave us glimpses, gave us flashes in that second half of the player and the striker that he can be. But he just needs more service and better service, and a lot of it came down to the service tonight. When you take Cole Palmer out of that team, there's a big hole, a big lack of creativity. And it's pretty clear to see, he makes a lot of things happen. He really makes this Chelsea side tick in that final third. And when we are struggling to unlock defenses, he is the guy. He's the one to really kind of turn the key, to turn the screw, to make something happen, to pick the lock. If it's not Enzo Fernandez with the ball over the top, more often than not, it's Cole Palmer. And I did think we missed him tonight. We missed his creativity, and we do need to keep him in the 10 role, kind of orchestrating in that James Maddison type role for Tottenham, being that kind of free spirit to kind of do what you want and, pick those passes in between the lines. And yeah, Mudryk on the left. And Nkunku up top, Sterling outright. I know I hate on the guy, but I can't see him being dropped. And I do think with those other players around him, it might give him a little bit more kind of impetus and kind of excuse to up his game because he's got a little bit more competition. That being said, Noni Madueke, fair shout to be starting again next week. I was disappointed he didn't start today. Thought he deserved it. Thought he's a player that, I think we've been deprived of Noni ball for far too long. I think he's a great young player. I think he's a player that should be getting way more minutes in this Chelsea side. He's very, very dangerous. Great left foot, great dribbling ability, great one-on-one. As soon as he works on his end product, he's going to be a fantastic player. Obviously, Poch was a big part or a big factor, I believe, of why he was forced out of Tottenham or why he left Tottenham and went to PSV. Relaunching his career at Chelsea, relaunching his Premier League career, should I say, at Chelsea. I was very, very excited, particularly for the price we got him for. I think he's a great player, underrated gem. He shows for the England under-21s consistently what he can do. And when he links up with Cole Palmer, devastating. So why not put these players together? I would love to see Mudryk, Madueke, Palmer, and Nkunku. That would be my ideal four. I can't see it happening just because Pochettino's been so reluctant to give Madueke minutes. But that would be my ideal four for the next game, for the next couple of games while we kind of get up to speed. And that would be the basis that I build this Chelsea attack around. I think they're the most talented attackers that we have and the best prospects at the moment in terms of their confidence, the players that we need to give and need to manage correctly and need to give game time to. Those are the players that I think deserve their chance in the spotlight for the next couple of games. But yeah, man, like I said, I know Poch has tinkered a lot with that back line, but I can't see him messing around too much with the front line. I can't see him dropping Jackson. I can't see him not putting Sterling in. Obviously Cole Palmer comes back in as well. So it's going to be interesting because there should be no way that Nkunku doesn't start as well. So it's going to be very interesting who he starts next week. But yeah, man, like I said, game of two halves today. And it's stressful because the Chelsea that we saw in the first half was a breath of fresh air. It was lovely. It was I was so excited to see how this game panned out, and then obviously stuck a punch just before half time. Kind of just took the momentum, took the impetus away from us, and yeah, this Chelsea side is so fragile in situations like that. When we do concede, we're too young, too inexperienced to kind of know how to handle it professionally. We do tend to crumble, and we're luckily, I think, that we do, that we were able to hold it down today. Because to be honest, I didn't think we were going to do it, particularly when we went in at 1-1. I thought it was going to be techie in that second half, and it was at times. And it didn't look at times like we were going to come out with 3 points, but yeah, thanks to Madueke, we just about managed it. A couple of people joining us. Appreciate you jumping in, Lemon, Faisal as well. That was a good conversation. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I love talking to myself. Just OMG, I haven't got time to stay here today, but decent result for you, and hope everyone had a great Christmas. You too, bro. Appreciate you jumping in. Hope everyone had a great Christmas as well. I didn't do any shorts or anything for I think I might have done a story or something, but I didn't do anything for the channel saying Merry Christmas. So if you're a subscriber, Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for subscribing from myself and Charms. There's still a few people watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Guys, we're nearly at 1,000 subscribers. There's about 10 of you watching. If you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. As soon as we're monetized, we're going to be giving away free shit, going to be giving away football shirts, some memorabilia, all that stuff. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. Get your friends to subscribe, share it. I mean, if we might even do a giveaway for 1,000 subs. If you like it, share it, put it on social media, tag us at Two Blues Podcast. I might give you a little extra something as well. So guys, yeah, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, and thanks for rocking with us. More content to come, in the new year. For now, yeah, I don't think we'll be doing a full match reaction tonight because Mr. C Money Picks was at the game. I haven't been able to get him in for a live match reaction, but I'll hear from him and hopefully maybe do a midweek episode or an episode very soon to let you guys know. But yeah, man, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rocking with us. Just IMG, I got the City game on. It's just about to finish 3-1. Managed to come back from that. Thank God as well. Can't have Arsenal winning this league, man. Worst case scenario, Liverpool win it. Can't have Arsenal or Tottenham win this league, man. If City don't win it, Liverpool better win it. Cannot be happening. Arsenal cannot win this league. I mean, we're top half now. Second half of the season, title charges on. I'm hearing. And Kunku looking baller. Palmer to come back. Lavia fully fit, nearly. I mean, there's a lot of, fair few positives to say from this Chelsea side, this Chelsea performance tonight. And like I said earlier, if you look at it like that, we're not at our best. We've got 12 injuries. Our major players, our captain, vice captain's out, keepers out, main players injured. We still managed to get over the line. It weren't that pretty. It was pretty pretty at times, and we played some great football at times, particularly, only in that first half. But, take the positives. Managed to continue our streak of wins against Crystal Palace. 12 wins now, back-to-back against Crystal Palace. I really did think that today was going to be the day that they broke that duck, that they broke us down. But yeah, man, 12 wins in a row against Palace. I think that's 5 we had now. Haven't been beaten at Stamford Bridge in 6 games since October. I mean, I don't think there were many wins, 1 or 2 wins in that run, but man, we're building that fortress status back up slowly but surely. It's, start from the bottom. You've got to start from somewhere. And this Chelsea team is starting from the mud. Muddy again at times today, but we move on. We take the positives, and we move on to next week. We look to next week. What is it? Luton next week, maybe? Fulham next week? I can't remember. Whoever it is, winnable game. Definite, easy 3 points. Chelsea should be clearing that, especially with Nkunku, Palmer, all of them, man, back and fit. Well, appreciate you guys rocking with us. Said earlier, but a few more people to join. Guys, make sure to like, comment, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers. If we could be at 1,000 subscribers when I get off this video, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But guys, yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. As soon as we're at 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing giveaways, football shirts, some memorabilia, all of that. So it's free. Takes a second. Click subscribe. Make sure to follow at Two Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. And yeah, man, let me know what you thought of the game in the comments. Let me know what you want to see from the Two Blues in 2024. We're going to be doing hopefully more content, churning out more shorts, different formats. But yeah, I always do the live match reactions. What do you want to see? Do you want to see pre-match reactions? Do you want to see watch-alongs? What do you man want to see? Let me know in the comments. Let us know on socials at Two Blues Podcast. But the most important thing, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please, guys, get us to 1,000 subscribers before the new year. Thank you very much, every single person, for rocking with us. I've been Dan. We've been Two Blues.